Around 400,000 years ago, a resilient human species arose in Europe, ideally suited to thrive in brutal, icy conditions. They skillfully hunted formidable megafauna, mastered fire, and explored plants, as evidenced by traces in their dental plaque, suggesting early medicinal knowledge. They also buried their deceased with respect. Then, about 60,000 years ago, our forebears arrived. Within 20,000 years, these cold-adapted experts vanished entirely from the planet, gone by roughly 40,000 years ago. What disaster could erase such a thriving species? Astonishingly, up to 2% of modern Eurasian DNA traces back to these Ice Age hunters. The reality is far more intriguing, and some of their legacy persists in your DNA today. Picture Europe 400,000 years ago. Massive ice sheets blanket the northern regions, and even southern areas endure frigid cold that modern humans would find nearly intolerable. In this harsh terrain, an extraordinary human species was evolving, their physiques becoming finely tuned survival tools for extreme cold. Neanderthals descended from earlier human ancestors who settled in Europe, growing increasingly cut off as severe climate conditions formed natural barriers. While other species fled the encroaching ice, these early Europeans remained, their bodies slowly adapting with each generation. Natural selection favored traits that preserved warmth and enhanced strength for hunting in tough conditions. The Neanderthal physique reflects this adaptation. Their broad, barrel-like torsos contained large lungs and hearts, supplying the oxygen and blood flow needed for intense activities in cold climates. Their arms and legs were noticeably shorter relative to their bodies, a common trait in cold-adapted populations that minimizes heat loss by reducing surface area. This compact build was a refined biological response to environmental demands. Their facial features had practical purposes. Broad, forward-jutting noses warmed and moistened icy air before it reached their lungs. Prominent brow ridges reinforced skulls enduring immense forces during close-quarters hunting. Most intriguing is the Neanderthal brain, with a capacity equal to or greater than ours, though structured differently. Studies show smaller parietal lobes and cerebellums compared to Homo sapiens, indicating a distinct cognitive framework rather than lesser ability. Their bodies were tailored for their environment. Research suggests their physique demanded 8 to 12% more energy for male movement compared to modern humans, with females facing similar costs. Their sturdy knees, elongated heels, and shorter lower limbs improved the leverage of their knee and ankle muscles, making walking more efficient despite their heavier builds. Neanderthals weren't primitive humans but a distinct branch of humanity, uniquely evolved for cold survival. While our ancestors developed different strengths, envision a small group of hunters stalking a 13,200-pound woolly mammoth, roughly 6 metric tons. Armed only with wooden spears and their raw power, they move in sync, closing in to plunge their weapons into the beast's flanks. For Neanderthals, such perilous hunts were routine. Paleoanthropologist Stephen Churchill notes that Neanderthal males required about 5,000 calories daily, akin to elite endurance athletes like Tour de France cyclists, and only large game could reliably provide this energy. Neanderthals lived in some of Earth's most unforgiving environments, from frozen mountain caves to windswept steppes, where modern humans without advanced tools would perish quickly. Their survival hinged on deep environmental knowledge and sophisticated technologies crafted for their surroundings. Archaeological evidence highlights their hunting tactics. At Neumarkt Nord in Germany, 120,000-year-old fallow deer bones with perforations in vertebrae and pelvises indicate the use of thrusting spears at close range. Ballistics studies reported in Archaeology magazine reveal Neanderthals excelled at ambush hunting. Their broad shoulders and hips delivered powerful, short bursts of force, enabling them to drive spears into large prey up close, a highly dangerous technique. Neanderthal skeletons often bear healed fractures in upper limbs and skulls, signs of violent clashes with cornered animals. Their technological prowess shines through in their tools. At Hohlfels Cave in Germany, archaeologists uncovered a 65,000-year-old flint spear point, meticulously shaped and fastened to a wooden shaft with plant-based glues and animal tendons, a complex process involving multiple materials and steps. Mastery of fire was another pillar of Neanderthal existence. Cave sites across Europe show carefully constructed hearths where temperatures were controlled for different purposes. Their dietary adaptations reveal surprising complexity. Isotope analysis indicates animal protein dominance, but dental calculus contains plant microfossils, hard seeds, nuts, and herb residues, suggesting a more varied diet. They organized hunting activities seasonally, targeting specific animals at particular times of year. In a limestone cave at El Sidrón in northern Spain, researchers made a startling discovery. DNA extracted from Neanderthal teeth revealed traces of plant remains in dental calculus, suggesting medicinal use. This finding is especially significant because several teeth belong to an individual with a dental abscess and evidence of a gastrointestinal parasite. The Neanderthal was self-medicating. For over a century, we've imagined Neanderthals as crude, dim-witted versions of ourselves. This narrative suited our desire to see human evolution as a straight line of progress leading directly to us. But recent discoveries force us to reconsider what their minds were capable of. Archaeological evidence increasingly reveals sophisticated cognitive abilities that blur the line between them and early Homo sapiens. Across Europe, Neanderthals deliberately buried their dead, often with ochre or arranged stones, indicating symbolic ritual. These weren't random disposals of the dead, but deliberate ceremonies, suggesting Neanderthals recognized the significance of death and responded to it symbolically. This represents a cultural practice rather than isolated incidents. Their capacity for symbolic thinking appears in other contexts, too. Cave sites in Spain contain abstract markings made with red ochre dating to over 65,000 years ago, before Homo sapiens arrived in Europe. While not as booking as later cave paintings, these marks indicate a mind capable of creating and understanding symbolic representation. Artifacts from various sites show decorative elements and potential jewelry made from eagle talons and shells. The physical structure of their vocal anatomy, particularly the hyoid bone, suggests Neanderthals possessed the ability to speak. Genetic studies confirm they carried the FOXP2 gene, a crucial element for language development. While their speech likely differed from ours, they could communicate through vocalization in complex ways. Perhaps most touching is the evidence of compassion. Neanderthal skeletons show healed injuries that would have required long-term assistance. A 60,000-year-old skeleton from Shanidar Cave had survived multiple serious injuries, yet lived for years afterward, impossible without others providing care. The differences between Neanderthal and Homo sapiens cognition appear to be matters of degree rather than kind. They weren't simply less intelligent versions of us, but differently intelligent, with their own complex cultures and capabilities. Approximately 60,000 years ago, small bands of Homo sapiens crossed from Africa into the Middle East, venturing into territories where Neanderthals had reigned unchallenged for hundreds. Recent studies suggest their numbers were 20% smaller than previously thought. Homo sapiens arrived in larger, more connected groups with communication networks spanning greater distances. Technological differences influenced competitive dynamics. Neanderthals used Mousterian tools, which showed relatively slow rates of change. Homo sapiens employed Upper Paleolithic tools characterized by greater innovation, including long-range weapons Neanderthals lacked. At Mandrin Cave in France, evidence shows the two species occupied the same areas at different times, replacing each other multiple times. This pattern challenges the notion of a simple linear replacement. Neanderthals were partially absorbed into expanding Homo sapiens populations. Approximately 2% of modern Eurasian genomes originate from Neanderthals, a genetic legacy influencing human biology today. When you receive results from a commercial DNA test today, you might find something remarkable. Up to 4% of your genome comes from a species many consider extinct. This isn't an error in the test. It's evidence of one of the most profound discoveries in human evolution. Neanderthals live on inside us. Modern genomic science has transformed our understanding of human ancestry. The 2010 sequencing of the Neanderthal genome revealed approximately 2% of the DNA in modern humans, with ancestry outside Africa originated from Neanderthals, with some Eurasian groups carrying up to 4%. This genetic legacy challenges the concept of extinction and forces us to reconsider what defines a human species. These ancient genes shape many aspects of modern human biology. Specific Neanderthal variants influence our immune responses, pain sensitivity, and skin characteristics. Some gene variants affect how our bodies interact with sunlight, potentially helping early humans adapt to less sunny northern latitudes. Others influence hair loss patterns and skin pigmentation. The impact of this genetic inheritance became particularly relevant during the COVID-19 pandemic. Research published in Nature identified a Neanderthal DNA segment on chromosome 3 that increases severe COVID-19 risk in roughly 16% of Europeans. Conversely, other Neanderthal segments on chromosome 12 protect up to 50% of Eurasians, reducing the need for intensive care by about 22%. These ancient genes also influence reproduction. A 2020 molecular biology and evolution study found nearly 1/3 of European women carry a Neanderthal variant of the progesterone receptor gene that increases fertility, reduces bleeding during early pregnancy, and lowers miscarriage risk. The distribution of Neanderthal DNA follows clear geographic patterns. People with Eurasian ancestry carry significantly more Neanderthal genes than those with primarily sub-Saharan African ancestry, reflecting interbreeding after some human populations left Africa. Neanderthals never truly disappeared. Their physical form vanished, but their genetic contributions live on, influencing human health, appearance, and biology. As our journey through the lost world of Neanderthals ends, we see that their story isn't about extinction, but transformation. Their essence continues through the genetic code inside nearly everyone reading this. They weren't a failed experiment, but another form of humanity with unique adaptations suited for their world. Their legacy reveals human evolution as a complex branching tree with diverse forms of intelligence and adaptation, including Neanderthals, Denisovans, and others who shaped who we are today. When you look in the mirror tomorrow, remember you carry the genetic echo of multiple human species. If you found this ancestry exploration surprising, hit like and subscribe for more ancient stories.